Welcome to the Stats on Stats Pod, yeah.
Insert banter here. Chloe, how are you today?
Doing well. How are you doing?
You know, it's a vibe. Other people can talk too.
Nah, I'm good.
Awkward.
I'm good. Welcome, Chloe. Thanks so much for waking up so early on Saturday. Oh my gosh. We're really excited about this.
I am too. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Wait, where are you calling in from?
Maryland. So DMV.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, DMV. What part of Maryland, though?
Well, my address is Hyattsville.
Oh, you had to think about it so long.
I'm not from here. I'm not from here. So I'm PG County right now, but my address is Hyattsville, but I think it's Landover. So it's weird. It's confusing.
Yeah.
What,
It is a little weird in that area.
what do you know about DMV?
But good job. I mean, you're rich living in PG County. I'm from Southeast.
I got a question. Which one is scarier to walk outside, PG County or Southeast?
I guess it depends on where you are.
This is very true.
It just depends on where you are.
Okay, fair enough. So are you into the 80s? You got the whole dangling earring and then the...
Yeah, it's a vibe.
Yeah?
I like
It's so okay. What's your favorite 80s movie?
No. I just like the style.
Okay. All right,
Yes,
fair
man.
enough. Let's keep it pushing then. All right.
Hey, were you going to tell us your favorite 80s?
Oh no, she has a lot.
I have a
She
lot.
No, we
watches.
just need one. Everything can't be a favorite because then nothing's a favorite.
I really like Just One of the Guys.
You're
Okay.
real.
Yeah,
Never
it's
heard of it.
This is real.
yeah, Just One of the Guys. It's this movie about this girl who totally looks like a girl, but she passes herself off as a guy for like a news article. But the entire time you're kind of like, everybody knows that's a girl. It's like that movie. Do y'all remember She's the Man? It was like that, where you're like, that's a girl. Clear. Anyways,
It's like every movie where you take off glasses and you no longer you're gorgeous. Gorgeous.
we had no clue that that's Superman or Urkel.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, great.
Right. So, do you know what's about to happen before we get into the reason people actually come here?
That's why I was like 80s. I thought we were doing 90s. So I was
She has studied. You threw her
ready.
off.
Her Spotify playlist wasn't ready. That's fine. It's cool. All right. So, we are about to play That's My Jam 90s R&B Edition. I'm crying right
Why are
now.
you laughing?
It's a full palate cleanse before you get the music. Yeah, this is good.
It's so awkward. It's so awkward. He used to put this in post-production, so now he does it like this, and I'm like, this is so weird. All right. So here are the rules. We're going to play 4 covers of songs that we haven't heard today, but 4 covers of 90s R&B songs. You have until the end of the song to say pause, and then you can guess either the name of the song or the name of the artist. If you get both, it's a flex, but, you know, the points are the same.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm very ready. Let's go.
Arbitrary song number 1.
You make me wanna throw my pager out the window. Tell MCI to cut the phone pole. Break my lease so I can move, cause you're a bugger.
Bugaboo.
Yeah, I feel like you should get that
Wait,
one.
is it
Okay.
Destiny Child? Is that nice? Is that 90s?
Yes. And yes, it is Destiny's Child.
And yes, it is Bugaboo.
Yes.
Good
So,
job.
all right.
Good job.
So we're listening. Is this all Dre today?
No, it's just this one.
Okay, it's a mix. All right, song number 2.
At first we started out real cool, taking me places I ain't never been. But now you're getting comfortable and doing those things you didn't no more. Slowly making me pay for things your money should be handling.
So, Bills. Destiny's Child again? Yeah.
Yes, it is. Anthony, I feel like you picked all the songs you knew.
Just random.
We let him pick the songs today, and I'm starting to notice a trend.
It saves him so much time in post-production.
He just puts Destiny's Child there persistently in the lower thirds. All right, song number 3.
In the thunder and rain, you stare into my eyes. I can feel your hand moving up my thighs, skirt around my waist.
Pause. Is it Janet? Janet?
Yes. Yes, I got excited because I was like, I know that one too. Yes, it's Janet
I don't
Jackson.
know the name though.
Don't matter. You got the
It's
point.
okay. You got the point.
Cool. You know this name?
Anytime, any place.
place.
You actually knew that one?
Oh yeah, I knew that one. That's for Blue Box After Dark though. We're not gonna go into any more details about that. Next song.
So number 4.
I was like peace in a groove on a Sunday afternoon. You were there, so was I, in the park 4th of July. I was chilling with my Kool-Aid when Miss Chili came to relay that you had a thing for me, finest thing you'd ever seen.
TLC.
Yes.
I'm so embarrassed.
It's cool. I don't remember the song either.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's called Digging on You.
Digging the sea.
Digging, I don't know the words. Ooh, baby, baby. Okay, anyway, you got 4 out of 4. Good job. I think you're the first.
Perfect.
I
It's a
think
second.
she's
Second
the
this
second.
season. Yep.
Okay, nice. All right, let's go ahead and switch into the reason people actually jump in here. It's your
To the reason that people are here.
people. Hey, look. All right, so actually, they might just be here for the game because it says like most people only listen to the first 5 minutes.
That's it.
But
Nostalgia.
All right,
And
bye,
then we're out.
everybody.
Saving money everywhere.
right. But anyways, real quick, shout out to Dre and Guyana. Go ahead and follow them. They're the ones who provide the covers for That's My Jam. All right, so if it's your first time, welcome. If you already know the vibes, welcome back. I'm Jordan, aka Jay, aka The Chosen One, aka Big Stepper, and I'm here with 2 co-hosts today.
I am Tiffany B. We're excited that you're here for an episode of the Stats on Stats podcast, where we're also joined by DEM Tech Folks.
Yes, I'm Ebony. I'm here visiting from DEM Tech Folks, and we're hanging out this weekend with Tiff and Jordan.
Yay.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. Well, on this podcast, one of the things we really love to do is be able to bring you people who are leaders in the IT tech cyber spaces. Today, we're joined by one of those people, and we're going to let her tell you who she is, where she's from, what she does, and how long she's been in her role.
Hey y'all, Chloe Burton. I am from the DMV, originally from the V, but I'm in the M now. I have been in tech it'll be 10 years in 2025, which is really crazy, really crazy. I started in cyber in 2018, so about 6 years. And right now I'm currently at DeepWatch, so I manage the detection engineering team over there. Happy to be here today.
Awesome. Thanks for that intro. So I guess we'll just jump right into it. What was your motivation to get into tech?
I didn't have motivation. I didn't want to be. So I'll be very great.
Same.
Ding, ding, ding.
Most people don't. Most people just fall into it.
Yeah, right? I was a psychology major, so I wanted to go that path and be some sort of therapist. But that didn't work out. So my dad was in tech. He worked in the government in tech. And one day we had a conversation. He was like, come join the dark side. And I was like, okay. And he helped me get into a small startup and just took off from there. So I think once I got into the space, I started to get more motivated by, okay, I actually like this. I can see a future here. And I didn't know how vast it could be, right? And I think tech is the bigger umbrella than cyber's in it. So then obviously, 2018 came and that's when I got into it. So yeah, ever since it's been every day is a different motivating factor to continue on, I would say.
I have a question about psychology. Why psychology?
The real reason is because I came in a neuroscience major. I failed intro to neuro 2 times. So I gave that up. I couldn't be a neurosurgeon. I try biology. I don't like plants. I actually kill all my plants. Can't do that. And so psychology was just the next best thing. And it was still a science field. Right? I've always been a STEM girly. And then I got into psychology and I was like, wow, I kind of like people, in a weird way. You know what I'm saying? Humans, I'll say. I like
Right.
thought processes. So yeah, it stuck.
They're interesting, usually. I think one of the things that I enjoy most about cyber is that it always has a psychological component to it. How are you going to manipulate these people, these users, into doing what you need them to do in a secure way? And so you always have to find their motivations and then make it really, really easy for their brains to just kind of lockstep with what it is that you've laid out.
Yeah, I agree. And I didn't make that connection until probably further on into my career. Like, at no point did I ever think psychology and cyber would have a relationship.
You
So
one
that
of them,
worked out great.
you one of them people who sit around watching people?
Maybe.
She goes to the mall and just watches people.
Like, sometimes you have to.
But yes, I do.
So you're at DeepWatch now. What was kind of, I guess, your trajectory from when you started into tech into where you're at now?
Yeah. So it was a small tech firm. They went bankrupt. It was out in Hamilton, bought them out. I worked at Booz for maybe 7 months. Then I went to Deloitte. And from Deloitte went to Accenture. So I've been a career consultant. And I think it was really at Deloitte that I realized I was doing more tech consulting. And so from there, it was crazy. Like I didn't know what I was doing, right? I knew I was in it, but I didn't know what I was doing. And so then when Accenture called in 2018 and I got into cyber, it was even again of like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm here. And like people are saying, oh, you're in tech, you're doing this. I'm like, I don't really know what's going on, right? I'm just waking up, going to work. And to me, it was just consulting, not tech. But yeah, and so I recently joined DeepWatch in March. Kind of just, like I said, career consultant now into startup world, or they call like startup toddler, I guess, because they're 5 years old.
Hey y'all, real quick, we just want to say if you're an aspiring cybersecurity professional, a couple tools that you should be familiar with are SIEM, Source Solutions. They are the backbone of pretty much every career in cybersecurity. Tiffany and I have actually taken a ton of cybersecurity training. We are very fortunate in that aspect. And so
we're proud to announce that we've partnered with Ellington Cyber Academy. Kenneth Ellington and his team are going to be able to present you with training to help you not just learn to be a team member using the SIEM and SOAR, but also to help to guide you and mentor you for long-term success even after the courses are over. So
yeah, they teaching you technical, they teaching you soft skills. Like this is one of the only programs that we've encountered that is going to make you an all-around cybersecurity professional able to make an immediate impact wherever you end up employed.
You may see some of their information. Take some time, check it out if you're interested in learning more about SIEM and SOAR and advancing your career. This is the group that you want to work with. You mentioned a couple of times, and you're like, oh, I didn't know what I was doing, but I was here. It makes me think about, like, I look back at some of my notes from when I started in tech, when I was doing my AIT in the Army. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I learned about this back then. Like this VPN, like I was setting this up back then. Like, did you ever have any moments where you're like looking back at something you learned and you're like, I didn't understand the value of this at the time?
Mm-hmm. So my first exposure to security, I was on a project at Deloitte and we were doing policies, procedures, documentation for an agency. And I didn't realize what that was. Again, it was just, I hate documentation, first of all. So it was fairly brutal. But looking back, I'm like, wow, that was the foundation for me to understand how to secure environments, how to document this, the processes, what you need, what's expected. And obviously in the federal government, it's more strict. And so I think that was a pretty interesting loop back in my mind of, wow, I actually did this. And I think on top of that too, there was another project I was on and I did SDLC, right? Granted, I was on the security side of it. So I guess when I say that, it was, we were doing an agile project, right? So like, those tech, what do you call it? The frameworks or whatever you call it for like going through projects, right? So that helped. But during that time, we had a security team and they were always trying to like come in and interrupt us and like, it's like, stop trying to make us do secure things. And it was just like, why are they bothering us? And now I'm the person that bothers them. I'm like, you need to do this. Secure by design. Pretty please, thank you. Goodbye. Right? So yeah, there's definitely a couple of look backs I can think on.
What is that thing that people always say? Security is the something of something. You know what I'm talking
I
about?
have no idea what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
Just making up words again.
Like security is the enemy of
Innovation?
What is
that?
Nope,
What you're trying
no,
to say?
that is a lie.
I'm like, what are you
Security.
trying to say right now?
Listen, cars couldn't go fast until you had brakes. Cars can go fast now. So security is not the enemy of innovation. Probably
Hey.
convenience, maybe convenience.
There we go.
All
Wait.
right.
No, I don't think that's it.
Okay, she made it
I
up.
tried.
Y'all know what I'm talking about. Put it in the comments or whatever if you make it that far into this video. So, what's a detection engineer?
I think it has variations of definitions. I would say it's also pretty new. Like this theme of like I'm just here. I didn't realize that this was becoming such a space, but I can talk about it in the perspective of how I see it, and I'm sure others might have other perspectives, right? How they kind of see it, but essentially you are the mastermind behind those detections that your analysts are going to action on. So I think, especially for me and where I'm at right now, the team that I manage is really the lifeblood of the organization, in a sense of, without detections, what is an analyst? Right? What is the SIM? Like, you can still correlate data, but like, what are you doing with that? So having that perspective and understanding of, security, and then obviously being able to understand logic of how to set something up to be most efficient. And we could talk about true positives, false positives, right? And kind of all the noise and reducing that. But I think at the end of the day, the detection engineer is really just, it's an art. They're a crafter, like I said, mastermind of how to create and craft these scenarios that others will inherit and then action on.
And that's really interesting because I think a couple of years ago, probably a little more than a couple of years ago, most organizations just rely on the playbooks that come with whatever tools are purchased, right? And it's like, oh, these are common indicators of compromise, and these are anomalous activity indicators. So like, this is just what we're staying with. But now that we are going into a space where we're automating more and we're trying to leverage more machine learning and more artificial intelligence, it's really important to have people that are able to execute in an artful way, that are able to think outside the box and the parameters of standard attacks and being able to identify new and interesting things. Do you get some of these ideas from watching people at the mall, Chloe? Is that where you get your motivation for your detections?
Every now and again.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, it's a lesson in everything, right?
It is. I mean, honestly, like, yeah, you're absolutely right. Just how people interact in the world. I mean, you can kind of tell a lot about how they're going to interact behind, the technology, computers, right? So yeah, I guess there was some truth in that.
I would argue that detection engineering is one of the most difficult jobs to have because you have to really understand how SOC analysts move, and then you also have to understand how the actual SIM is engineered and set up. And I feel like you guys are the most tapped into the newest threats and how they're emerging and things like that. And so it's funny because like whenever we work with customers and we implement security applications, and they're like, we're going to set up all these rules, especially when they don't have a detection engineer. They're like, oh, we're just going to run the ones out of the box. Or we have this list of IPs that we're just going to, throw in there and create rules. And I'm like, what?
Or we ask Chat GPT and this is what they said.
Yeah.
It's going to be our best option.
Yeah. And we frequently tell them because then they'll be like, oh, can you help us write rules? Well, detection engineering is a whole job. And it's not mine, but yeah, I would.
There's a completely different layer to that too. And the SOC, you also have that requirement to tune those rules, right? Mm-hmm. Because there are a lot of things that when you are creating those rules and engineering them, you can't necessarily take everything into consideration that the organization is doing in those timelines. But your SOCs can be able to give you kind of that feedback loop of okay, these are things that happen in our environment consistently and they're benign. So it is like, there's a lot of layers to that.
And I think a good portion of my current team and other teams I've worked with, they started out as analysts. I think they have that perfect aspect, like what you were talking about. They know they're on the front lines. Like we're front line adjacent, like we're not catching that heat, So I think that's really important.
I have more questions about this detection engineering stuff. So like, as you've been in the space, how have you kind of seen it evolve?
It got a name. I think that was
Okay, okay.
First steps. Good job.
yeah. Before it was just use case creation, alert development. Like people just did it. And to your point, right? If just let's turn it on and go with it. There wasn't anything more than just that. We had life cycles, we understood it, but actually putting a name to something and then starting to like really say, okay, like what are we doing? What's our goals? What's our end goals? What are these teams actually doing? The purpose behind it. So I've also seen it kind of go into, we have detection engineering, threat detection engineering. I think sometimes it goes on to security engineering a little bit, so it might kind of broaden itself. Honestly, I think we'll probably talk about this two-letter word more today, AI, how that's coming into play, right? How machine learning is impacting that. Are we going to go extinct, right? Is there going to be some kind of automation that's just going to be like, hey, we can, turn all these things on and tune them properly? So I think the future in this space is going to be very interesting, and I think folks are going to actually need to skill up in those areas that are hot topics right now.
I'm glad you brought the skill up, because my next question was actually about conferences and talks and stuff. What has been like one of your biggest resources when it comes to detection engineering? Because you are saying it, like putting a name to it is new. So how have you grown?
I've had to learn just by doing, but I listen to a lot of podcasts. I read. I try to get up in the morning, and I'm on LinkedIn all the time. I'm sure you probably say I like everything, right? I'm reading through things. But I like to read like Medium, Substack, read articles, spending that time in doing it and listening to folks, whether that's in the detection engineering space or just security in general. Because I think detection engineering, like you're going to have a really good view of what is happening and what's coming, because you're going to be creating those detections that customers are like, hey, are we okay? Are we going to be able to alert on this if it happens? And like, if you don't know what's even happening, how do you start to think about how to create something to alert them on? And funny enough, if you're talking about conferences, I was going to Splunk, the Splunk conference, and that was the only one I had gone to. And I recently went to Cyber Forum in Montreal, and that was really great. Like I actually got, it wasn't just Splunk focused, obviously, right? It was security in general. So I think that was really great to understand just other aspects of cyber outside of just my bubble of detection engineering and, the SIM.
Have you heard of that one? I think it's new. It's called like, look at me, not knowing the name of it. It's called like Detection Engineering and Threat Hunting.
Yes, death.
Yeah. Are you planning on going to that one next year? Maybe
I would love to. I actually told my team about it because I didn't know. I was DEFCON, but I know it's DEATH. Yeah, detection engineering and yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to say the name of it because it felt morbid.
It does.
So you had her say it multiple times.
That D one.
So you knew what the name was. You just didn't want to say what the name was. Wow. Good job. Good assist, Chloe. Way to go.
Okay.
So considering you started off in psychology and then you transitioned kind of into tech, I'm really actually excited to ask you this question, but what advice do you have for students who essentially make that sort of huge pivot?
Yeah. That's an interesting question. Like, so if I think about my journey, it feels so long ago. I feel old. So it's very different now. But I think when I talk to folks, I'm always trying to say, okay, let's focus. Like what are you interested in, first of all? And people will tell me, like those movies or TV shows where they're like on the computer in the dark room. I'm like, okay, so you're kind of like red teamish, you know what I'm saying? Or folks are like, I want to say it and I want to do good. I want to catch bad. I'm like, okay, let's go over this way, right? And I think you guys know where I'm going with this, right? And so from that, it's like, okay, I can then help you understand what paths and tools you can utilize to continue forward on that journey. And I think the first step is always like, you've got to tell me what interests you. You've got to focus because you'll get lost in the sauce super easy. And I think that's something that I was blessed with because I learned Splunk. And granted, it's not a SIM by nature, obviously has evolved. And so I didn't have a choice. For the most part, I was a SIM person. I was going defensive and then boom, everything kind of happened after that. So focus in and make sure you actually like it because this space can be brutal if you let it. where you go and kind of the paths you take. Like, you have to really be in this for the right reasons.
So if I sent you a questionnaire, you're like, oh, I don't know what I want to do. And I sent you a questionnaire that says, what's your favorite color? Red, blue, white, black, or gray?
Maybe purple.
Or purple. Which one would you choose?
Why would you think I was going to choose one of them?
I mean, purple is red and blue, so.
I like that, but I do. I would pick purple.
Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna start when people are like, I want to get into cyber. That's gonna be my questionnaire. What's your favorite of all of these? All right, I'm done talking forever.
Oh, that's a really great start to the conversation, and then transitioning into that explanation. When people come to and they're like, "Oh, I want to get into cyber," I'm like, oh, "Okay, well, what do you like to do?" And they're like, "Oh, like Chloe said, something with computers in the dark." I'm like, no, because there's only an illusion of separation between your personal life and your professional life, right? So if you don't enjoy doing this thing, you're going to get burned out really quick. So, like, do you enjoy puzzles? Do you enjoy consistent challenges? Do you like talking to people? Do you like coding? Like, do you like reading? All of these things are things that are going to have like massive impacts in whatever it is that you choose across any technology.
I should leave. I should leave. I answered no to all.
Well, I mean, those are just the first question, but hopefully you would have been able to establish what color you like.
Tiffany,
Black?
remember those questions we had?
Black? Is that just getting a vibe from what's happening right here? Maybe black might be your color.
It's just that we have so many questions to get to.
Oh, man. Okay, Chloe. Well, maybe you had a mentor, that helped you along the way. So let's talk about that. Is there anybody that you would say, or people that you would say were influential while you were in tech or before you got into tech?
Yeah, my dad. He's the reason why I got into tech, so shout out to him. And I do think on that one project I mentioned earlier, when I was doing the documentation for the agency, I had a phenomenal team. And I had this amazing manager, Black woman. Like, she was everything I wanted to embody and still try to embody today. And it was the fear and respect that I had for her. It was the knowledge that she came to the table with, how she commanded rooms, and she's poured into me even to this day. And I think that's been something that I'm looking to emulate. And as I have become a manager, I've definitely thought back to how I felt around her, because I've had other situations where I didn't feel that safe space or comfortability. I didn't know everything, and she knew I didn't know everything, but she challenged me, and that's how I lead my teams today. I want to challenge you, I want to grow you, so you can be better than me and do more than me.
That also lead you into doing ECA? Or being a part of the ECA team?
No, actually, I met Kenneth. I think we always talk about how we met, because we don't really remember. I think it was through Blacks in Cyber, I think. And yeah, he and I just clicked. I don't know. So yeah, he and I we met. It was just kind of like an organic thing, and we just got to chit-chatting, and I think he even, we crossed paths just in workplace too. And then, obviously he became a consultant, and so we're, sharing consultant horror stories and all that type of stuff.
Gotcha. So anybody who was listening, if you don't know who ECA is, first of all, that is Kenneth Ellington's Ellington Cyber Academy. So Chloe's a part of that. And yeah, I guess we could talk a little bit more about what Ellington Cyber Academy does.
And what you do there, because
yeah.
What?
Yes, we can.
Great, because the audience is with rapt attention, like, what is happening?
So the Cyber Academy itself is, I'm pretty sure it does SIM, SOAR, I want to say vulnerability management, threat hunting. So it's evolving, but my role right now, I'm like an advisor, I'll say. I haven't been tapped into the everyday operations, but I'm definitely someone that if I'm seeing things out in the wild, I'll send it to Kenneth, or if he has questions, I'm definitely there to answer them. I see Willie grows on his journey there, but I do hope to get more tapped in. He and I have been talking just how I can, provide my services to help him continue to get out there and teach folks how to use these platforms, how to understand security better. And the communities that he's focused on are near and dear to my heart. People that look like us. So that's always something that I'm going to be an advocate for and support.
We're looking at you, Ebony, because we haven't heard you speak in a minute.
You've heard me speak almost the entire time we've been here, but getting back to you, Chloe, because this is not the Ebony show, as Jordan might think. So, Chloe, how did you happen to get involved in an advisory role with ECA? Sounds like you're doing a lot of different things right now, and like mentoring people on the side, and like becoming the phenomenal manager that you want to be. How did you start to get involved and define your role as an advisor for ECA?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't have time to do much more. So it became, I will be able to, I want to be a part of it, but I recognize I can't give you 110%. So I want to give you what I can. Like I said, just conversations. Like Kenneth and I talk probably weekly, multiple times. And I think it's just it's a friend, right? And so just being this person who I am, I'm always, wanting to give support and advice. And so I just kind of fell into that role there.
All right, y'all. So check this out. If you're interested in getting into cybersecurity, it's constantly changing. So something that's going to be extremely important is understand how the adversaries move.
That's why mastering the MITRE ATT&CK framework is something that's going to be crucial for any cybersecurity expert.
So that is why we are excited to announce that we have a partnership with MAD20. Now, what does that mean?
That means that we are partnering with them, and we're going to be able to give you hands-on learning, training, certification through this partnership.
It's awesome because it is completely focused on the MITRE ATT&CK framework. We got a 15% discount. So if you are interested in checking it out, we highly encourage.
If you're looking for a structured way to analyze and counteract attacks at every level, then this is going to give you the language that you are looking for.
You can go ahead and use our discount code to get 15% off training. That code is StatsOnStats15. So go ahead and check that out.
We'll see you next time. Good luck.
And now I just want to pivot slightly because you are doing a bunch of different things right now, and you've been navigating in your career as of late, and you just show up, which is part of the most important thing that you can do, but you really have no idea what you're doing, allegedly, according to you. So how do you maintain some form of personal balance? What do you do to kind of stave off burnout and just kind of charge your batteries?
Yeah, for sure. This is the thing.
It's the thing.
First of all, I do know what I'm doing now. Let's make that clear.
Great job. Great job. Walking that truth.
Manager.
First step is walking that truth, okay? Everybody that says they know what they're doing is a liar. Because nobody knows what they're doing.
Most days. We're good. I am very focused on, I'm routine. So first of all, that keeps me in my boxes and my spaces. I compartmentalize a lot. So like in my head, I feel like there's a lot of different boxes I can open and close. And I'm pretty good at that.
Same.
And you said it earlier, like the separation between work and life, like it's there, but like I'm always who I am, right? So that's just how I show up. But my routine, I get up, make my bed, open the curtains, I'll go to the gym or I'll run. Like that is something I must do to ensure that like I'm keeping myself stable. It's how I relieve my stress. So, after work too, sometimes I just sit, I'll be honest with you, or I'll just sit in my office here and just stare. But yeah, it's really important for me. And again, I emphasize this with my teams of, work is not life. You need to have the separations. I can't afford for anybody to burn out. I can't burn out. So, you have to have these routines and structures. And at least for me, that's what works. I mean, everybody might be structured or, I think sometimes I'm very type A. So in a way, it helps me.
Good. I love that. In almost every interview I've ever had, I make it really clear that this is just something I do between vacations. like whatever it is that you're asking me to do, yeah, I can do it. But this is just what I do between vacations. I want to be really clear with my priorities lie.
No, after work, I tell my friend, like, after work, I'm on vacation. Like, right, like, I get you. Like, I think we relate on that.
Yeah, don't call me, because when my lotto ticket come in, I want y'all to be able to continue the good work y'all been doing, because I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back.
How do you encourage your team members to make sure they find balance for themselves as well?
Yeah. I'll just tell them. Like,
Straight up.
Or I'll be like, you haven't taken off in a while. Is everything okay? Do you not want to come back after lunch? But no, I seriously, whenever they need anything or they come to me, and it's just like, take your time. Literally take your time. And like, we have the benefit of having unlimited PTO, so flexible time off FTO. So I'm like, it's literally unlimited. You can take it whenever, and I'm never going to deny it. Ever. Like, who am I to tell you that you can't take this time? So, and I hope they recognize that. Yeah, I truly value it. It's not just words. It's really something that I stand by, and I'm probably not the best at doing it myself, but oftentimes I think I'll run hot so they can run cold. Right? They can continue to do what they need to do while I'll manage all these other things.
Unlimited PTO is like the biggest mind F ever.
It is.
Like, when I had unlimited PTO, I was afraid to take off.
Yes.
I was like,
why? It's unlimited.
Because you can.
I was so afraid to
They
like.
think it's a trap.
Right. I thought it was a trap. Like, at the end, like for quarterly evals or something, they would be like, you took off 15 days and your team member only took off 2. What's going on there? Like,
Man.
yeah.
I do not live in this space.
I don't think I've ever had a job where I didn't have negative hours. not a single one. I'm like, hey, listen, these are my planned vacations for the next 6 months. I'm not going to be here, so just whatever you need me to do, you're going to need to front load that, because I'm not here for it.
You can't invoke short-term disability.
I definitely have on a couple occasions. I definitely
Really?
have. Like, listen. Yeah, absolutely. First of all, one of the first things you got to do when you start a new job, you got to get in good with HR, okay? Ask questions, okay? And when you get in good with HR, a couple things going to happen. They're going to fill out the forms for you if you're real nice. And secondly, they're going to tell you how to navigate these policies, okay? Now, when we talking about cyber and technology in general, everybody is a well-known fact that there's a lot of burnout in general. Because, like Chloe said, you run hot, right? I run hot so my team doesn't have to. I try to be ahead of threats. It's a lot of things that's happening, evolving, emerging activities. So, yeah, sometimes I just need some time off for my mental health to make sure that I can come back and the company's using resources in the most effective way.
I'm over here crying. Dead.
Yeah, listen.
Ebony starts every job with a new chronic illness.
Listen.
Look, Anthony, I'm gonna need you to take some of this out because I need to invoke my
Just go ahead.
that's coming up. So check that out.
So, focusing back on you, Chloe. So you encourage your team to take their time. Is your team distributed, or are they all in the same space?
Distributed nationwide.
Oh, okay, great. So how do you kind of build that camaraderie amongst your team, knowing that, they can only kind of relate digitally?
Yeah. Group chats. So we use Slack. Lots of different group chats. And, I do my best to do some sort of team bonding as we can. Sometimes it's tough. We're pretty busy. But, we've done like draw or source games. And so we'll just take out like an hour and draw random things and try and guess it, and that's always fun.
It's fun.
And I just think I'm pretty open too. Like I'm very much like, whatever you need, come to me. So I think each one of them, we have our own personal relationship. And so I hope fostering that between us, and so I understand how they function, and then if they need something, I know what someone else functions like and how that all fits, and linking folks together, even though they've probably been working together longer than I've been around. But they also don't know some of the skill sets because they don't talk, right? Because you said it's digital. You don't get to just go into the conference room and all sit and grab a coffee and chat.
You're putting that psychology interest to use again.
I can't help it. It's very...
Man, who knew how valuable that was going to be for you?
No idea. I have no idea. Yeah, here we are. So plants didn't work, brains didn't happen, but now I have cyber and humans.
Have you watched that show, Brilliant Minds?
No.
You should check that out. It's really good. It's on Peacock. Do you have Peacock? Don't know. Go ahead.
All right, Chloe, one of the things we like to ask is, what's next for you? So when you think about your future.
Yeah. Well, what I really aspire to do is obviously continue to go upwards on the ladder. But when I think about that, I think there's a point in time for me that I was chasing titles, right? It felt like titles were the way to move up the ladder. But I've more recently realized that's not it. I think to me, moving up means that I'm starting to elevate others as well. And I think that trail that I leave behind, I want to leave behind folks that are coming up with me. So, in that sense, obviously the titles will come. So whatever the next level is, DeepWatch, wherever I'm at, I'm continuing to be in this space. I do always want to stay technical, something I'm always preaching. Like, I don't want to lose that. I think it's a superpower that I have to be able to do both. And maybe one day something on my own. I've thought about it, but I seem sometimes I'm just like, I want to sleep. So I'm like, I don't know. Do I really want to do something? Do I really have that energy, or do I just continue to be this person of inspiring folks? And that's what moving up looks like to me right now. So we'll see. I'll get back to you on that one though, because it's a lot to think about sometimes. And like I said earlier, like being in this space for 10 years, like I didn't even think 10 years ago I was going to be here. So what's the next 10 years going to look like? I couldn't even tell you. I just want to make sure that I'm doing right by the folks that I'm helping and with. And that's all.
Oh, where does that kind of like, because you're talking about you really believe in helping people, rise with you, right? So that means like to an extent you kind of feel connected to people, right? You feel connected to the entire human experience. You don't necessarily work as, hey, I'm this super selfish individual who's all about me. Where does that come from?
I don't know. I really don't know. Great question. I don't think about that one. It feels natural. And I honestly, I don't think, because I probably had the easy answer of, oh, psychology, I've learned all this stuff. Like, that's definitely not. I think I've always been this way. And I think as I started to get more involved in the security community, and as I understood more about what that means, it became very prevalent to me that there's a lot of folks out there that are craving to be in spaces that we are in. And I just felt it would be a disservice to not share what I know. Sometimes I think I don't know a lot, but I know more than what they do. And so who am I in to just kind of block you off from that? But yeah, to me, it just feels natural. You can ask my friends. We'll see what they say. I hope they say the same thing.
I feel like whenever we talk to folks who are like that, right, who are very much so opposed to isolation, right, more so interested in the human connection and that experience, I'm like, do you know how much empathy you have to have like within you and how heavy that actually is? Like, and so with that, I just say thank you, because that really is, that's a heavy load to carry. So it's also very beautiful. I literally have nothing else to say.
You said that like 7 times though.
Okay, fine. I do have another question actually. So,
like 7 times.
so for people who don't know anything about cybersecurity, but they do want to get into the space, and they're like, hey, is there any sort of training, any sort of really specific resources that'll help me get spun up, help me find a direction? What would you recommend?
Yeah.
Like,
I always start with YouTube. I think it depends too. Like, are you trying to pay for something, or you want to go the free route? And obviously, YouTube is a great space for that. It could be, well, got to make sure what you're on there looking at. But I could plug UCA too. I think that's at a point that you're probably more mature in your thought process of what you want to do, because there's more focus there. We could talk about the basics: your Security Plus, your Net Plus, Linux Plus. Getting that foundational stabilization. But honestly, I would encourage just reading, like I do, like blogs, articles. Like, that's a lot of information right there. Now, I know it might not make sense right when you first get into it, but start to see how it all connects to each other. Because I think there's a pattern in this space. And what we're doing is, if you break it down, it's pretty simple. We're defending something or we're attacking something, and we're trying to secure. critical assets. What is that? Why are we protecting this? And to me, that's really all it is. So everything around that, there's plenty of security vendors and tools and jargon and stuff, but simplify it down to just defend, attack, protect. What is that?
Ebony, it's up to you now. We got these last couple of minutes. I think we should do a lightning.
Before we do that, can I say one thing real quick?
No.
No, you've already done all your things.
Let me just.
You have no more thoughts on this.
It's
You have
within.
no more words
It's
on that.
within the vein of this, though.
Okay, go ahead, give it to
Okay, the one thing I want to say is, I feel like the training experience has evolved quite a bit in terms of a lot of the things out there, because they've started to develop paths. Like if you're interested in being a cyber defender, they have paths for that. If you're interested in being a detection engineer, they have paths for that. So I think that the training space in cybersecurity has evolved quite a bit in favor of people who are newer to the industry. Okay.
It's true. When I used to teach classes, I would play a movie the very first day. And one of my favorite movies is White House Down, because I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, there's no way that this should have progressed as far as it did. And just talking to the students and having them identify ways that this particular activity could have been prevented or ways that it could have been done better. And just having them like look at this semi-realistic activity and narrow down their focus on where we wanted to go with our lessons for the duration of the course was really helpful, because like the things that they identify unconsciously are the things where their interests lie, right? They always look and they're like, oh, I want to sit in this dark room and like have screens and screens and screens of code running past. Like no one can read it that fast, whatever, who cares? Just like I said, understanding what your interests lie personally is going to help you go much further professionally. Now, with that being said.
Are there any black people in that movie?
Yeah, Jamie Foxx, he's the
Oh,
president.
yeah. Okay, I was just trying.
He's the president.
I was like, I know there's a black person. Was it Will Smith? Okay, it's Jamie Foxx. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry.
I'm sorry. My tone was a little judgmental, and I apologize for that because everyone hasn't seen that movie.
Okay, my therapist tells me that I'm important, so.
You are important.
Lightning
But
thunder
right now,
questions.
yeah, right now we're moving to this. Everyone here is very important. So, Chloe, one of the things that we do on DEM Tech Folks is DEM Lightning Lessons. And so for DEM Lightning Lessons, we give you 30 seconds to come up with, now Jordan thinks it's 3 minutes, but we give you 30 seconds to come up with something to teach us and the audience. You can teach anything you want. It can be food, it can be how to kill plants, it can be like cyber, whatever you want. You have 30 seconds to come up with a topic, and then you have 60 seconds to teach us about it. All right, are you ready?
No.
I know you weren't ready for it. You are. This is too much. But I mean, you got your juices flowing down, like, okay. I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna give you some time.
I'm starting the 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And
Okay, go.
Okay. This is gonna sound corny, but I recently made egg bites, so I'll teach you.
Ooh, great. We're about to learn about some egg bites. Okay. All right. We're about to start this 60 seconds. All right, y'all. Let's focus. Egg bites are such a convenient breakfast. All right, go.
Yeah. Okay. So you get a muffin pan. You can get muffin cups if you want, or you just butter the, what do you call those in the muffin pan? The cups in the pan, I guess.
Yeah, they're still cups.
Yeah.
Yep.
You whip up some eggs, so you scramble them. You can add in whatever you want. I do peppers, onions, maybe some meat, some cheese. Get it all together. Some seasonings on it. Pour it into the pan. Put it in the oven. We'll call it 350, whatever you're feeling. Maybe 10 minutes? I don't know. Go off vibes. I really don't know. And then you take them out, and I haven't perfected the egg bite that stays like elevated. It's kind of like a souffle, right? How it will just womp womp.
Like a little quiche.
Yeah. So don't fear if it collapses on you. It's still good. You take them out, pop it out. There you go. Egg bite.
That was a great job.
Yeah.
That was a great job. And it was in time.
It was.
That's phenomenal. Like, that's amazing. Now, as a side note, and this is something that you can do with your distributed team that I love to do with my distributed team, for Thanksgiving, we all exchange our favorite recipes. And then we just have everybody try whatever recipes and then take pictures of their successes and or failures and just put it in there. We just roast everybody. Just a free-for-all.
I'm gonna do that. I like that idea, actually. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, no.
I got nothing.
We got to wrap it up because Anthony's almost hit his threshold where he charges his extra $50 an hour.
All right, so we're just going to stop playing the music. And Chloe, thanks so much for joining us.
No, we can't do that. We have to. Do you want to ask?
About her socials?
Yeah.
I was going to do that after you said thank you.
Okay, I'm supposed to say thank you first. So, Chloe, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. We know time is currency, so we hope you feel yours is well spent. Like endless gratitude, truly.
Thank y'all. I appreciate this.
Ebony, you gonna say thank you?
Okay, relax. Jeez. Thank you so much, Chloe. I've learned so much today. I'm really excited for us to connect on LinkedIn. This is going to be amazing. All right, go ahead, Tiff.
Right. So, Chloe, before we close out, we want to make sure we ask you if you're willing to allow people to communicate with you. Where could they reach out to you at?
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm sure it's just Chloe Burton. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else out there. So if you find anything else, it's not me. That's LinkedIn.
It's good awareness.
All right. Awesome. Okay. To everybody else, thank you so much for being a part of the Stats on Stats podcast. We'll see you next time.
Stay wavy and please feel free to send donations to $Jordan Short through Cash App.
Cut that. See you later.